What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? DoctorDDub here, and welcome to the technically second build update video for the FarmFolks pre-alpha demo. So there's a lot of bugs and crashes that people are encountering, and the dev team is putting out new builds almost daily at this point. It's pretty awesome. I'm going to do my best to get out a video as often as I can, maybe not for every build, but for as many as I can, just kind of going over the changes and sort of giving you a state of the game as it stands today kind of video. These are all going to be super casual, real relaxed. I'm not going to try too hard because there's going to be so many. I don't have the time to commit to making them all fancy. So anyway, today we're going over build 0.0.1.15. If you open up the folder, this is the extracted folder. Oh, and by the way, it's quite a bit larger than previous builds. The compressed file is 585 megabytes. The uncompressed file is 1.4 gigs. So it's quite a bit larger than previous builds, which is good to see. But the executable file, farmfolks.exe, is now farmfolks_the_build name, which is awesome. But this isn't really related to the build itself, but one thing that was fixed in 0.12, I think it was, is they added logging. So when your game crashes, when your game crashes, it'll generate a text file that's written in more or less developer speak, if you will, that basically shows what happened and what caused it to crash. And then you can pass that along to the devs, and they can try and troubleshoot from there. So it's super helpful to do. But it's not enabled by default. So in order to turn that on, if you will, you've got to right-click the farmfolks_build.exe and create a shortcut of it. And then on that shortcut, right-click that, go down to Properties, and then right here in the target field, you'll see in parentheses, just basically the location of the folder. After the parentheses, not inside it, you need to add a space followed by -log. Hit apply, hit OK, and now as long as you run the game through the shortcut you created, not the original one, you'll be able to generate crash logs. So let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully nothing crashes. Fingers crossed, right? I haven't saved any of the time I've spent in game so far. I start a new game every time, but it's seeming to be approaching a more stable state. Not completely, but it's getting closer. So I might actually start saving some stuff, so we're not starting off with 300 shells and nothing to our name every time. It's crazy. Anyway, let's pick up some tools so I can start demonstrating stuff. The first thing that is a noticeable change, and something that I actually suggested, not saying I had anything to do with it, but I suggested it, and it's awesome, is that you can now have immersive strolls through the forest, because the highlight that they added is actually only active for your currently selected tool. So if I have the pick, it only highlights rocks. If I pull out the scythe, it only highlights the flowers. If I pick up a hoe, it shows me everywhere because it can be used everywhere. But then if I had the axe as well, it would highlight trees only. It's super nice. And like I said, not saying that I made it happen. I'm kidding. But it's nice to see. It's a definitely welcomed improvement. They also added highlights to Ravi and Ashima, as well as the sales box. I'm not sure how I like it on NPCs. They look creepy enough already, just frozen and tiny, and like I could eat them. So now that they're glowing and creepy looking, it's very odd. So I probably won't be going near them too much. They've also added some changes to fences, to where it's easier to place. Their exact words were improved fence placement interaction. Not sure what that means, but so far it seems pretty much the same. I'm sure it's different in some aspect. I did encounter a bug where I would place new fences next to existing ones and it would remove the fences that I had. So I'm sitting here trying to get the gates to work with no luck, and I've been able to reproduce this lovely little fence bug. So you can see, I know it's hard to see because of the shadows, but with this almost 4 times daylight cycle speed, it's just shy of 4 times as fast as it will be, we should be getting rid of these shadows, which are still incredibly dark, here in just a sec. But you can see I've got a line of fence right in front of me here, and then one single post right there. If I place that and try to connect them up, it works fine. I haven't been able to find out exactly what causes this issue. But if I build that, it removes the previous ones. It's very strange. So I don't know about the improved fence placement interaction. It still seems very broken to me. Also, with your watering can, if I go ahead and fill this up, it has now been reduced to 25. This was new as of 0.0.1.14, I believe. I might just start calling it 0.14 and 0.15 just because, or .15, whatever. Because that's a long name. It only holds 25 now. And if I were to use this, apparently this was an issue previously. If I use it, I water it, I'm now down to 24, so I have a partially filled watering can. Apparently you couldn't fill it back up again, but now you can, so that's nice. And with the reduced size, they've also added, again in 0.14, the ability to upgrade your hoe, trowel, and watering can. Not sure what upgrading a hoe does, or the trowel for that matter, but the watering can will give you access to larger water capacities. So with tier 1, you can hold 25 units of water, tier 2 is 50, and tier 3 is 100, which is what we originally started with. But it's nice to see they're adding some sort of upgrade paths. And my game crashed. Lovely. Or not so much a crash, but it froze up to the point I couldn't do anything. They've also apparently fixed the Caribbean Cayenne seed issue. It apparently was causing people's games to crash when they would plant it. Let me see if I can get through real quick. Alright, so this is exactly where my game froze up last time. I sped through the dialogue, I asked Ashima if she had any seeds I could buy, and it freezes the game. So don't buy any seeds, I guess. I'm not sure if this is an issue for everyone or just because I'm speeding through it. But it's broken for me. Another part of the patch notes says that they've fixed an issue with standing on top of a plot as you water it. Also, I'm just now noticing the water has changed. It's not as blue, it pulsates, and I swear I just got some reflection off of the sun on one of these. That's kind of cool. I'm not sure how I like the water moving that much. It's a little busy, especially if you had an entire field, but that's definitely different. Several seed meshes were not set correctly. I don't even know what that means. When you cut down ferns, you now get wheat seeds, which look different than they used to. And I think that's what's meant by, in the patch notes, it says that they fixed several seed meshes that were not set correctly. They looked very strange before. Now they look very much like what they should. Like sunflower seeds are no longer dropping oval-shaped sunflower. They drop actual seeds, which is nice to see. Mouse interaction when destroying a building has been fixed, which I don't know because I've never built a building. I don't even know if you can. And then the animal cube now has the option to purchase a peku and a cello, not a cow. Or maybe I need the animal enclosure first. But with the build tool, which I have to go re-equip or re-pick up because it got destroyed, there's no buildings that you can build, only enclosures and buildings. So maybe the enclosure, you just build a fence and a gate and put a trough in it, and that qualifies. And then the desalinator, still don't know what it does. Obviously not a final mesh, but it's still there. And then the most important change of them all is a pause menu. Or not even a menu, but a pause screen. Super handy. To do that, press O on the keyboard. Escape doesn't do anything. P, believe it or not, isn't pause. It's O for oh my gosh, I just paused. I almost forgot. If your game does crash, like it just crashed for me, you can come back to your FarmFolks folder where you downloaded the game, go into the FF2 folder, go into saved, and then logs, and the ff2.log, not these backup ones, but the ff2.log, that's the file you're going to want to send over to the devs. In order to do that, all you have to do is go over to their Discord page, then go down to the crash channel, and post your ff2.log file as well as a description of what you were doing when it happened, and that is all you need to do. The ff2.log file will get overwritten every time the game crashes, so if you do have a crash and then you hop back in the game and get another crash, the information from that first crash will be lost, so you need to make sure you're submitting these or at least saving them and renaming them as you go. Otherwise, you will lose previous crash data. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's quick and dirty update. Sorry it took so long. I'll try to get better about more efficiently going through the patch notes moving forward. Once I have a save file I can return to repeatedly. We'll see if I can ever figure that out. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of these quick, just super informal updates. Like I just said, I'll try to get faster at them so it's not as lengthy for as much information. But I'll see you guys probably really soon, because I'm sure there will be a new build out very shortly. Until then, though, as always, take care.